Daniel Mitchell, you were working for the same institute, senior fellow at the Cato Institute as well. Your research emphasis on fiscal policy and tax reform, tax policies, international tax competition. Before you were a senior fellow with the Heritage Foundation, and you worked as an economist for Senator Bob Packwood in the Senate Finance Committee before. And in your recent blog post, I think it was yesterday's blog post, I don't know, I think you wrote, "I'm of the opinion that the Swiss are the world's most sensible people." Is one reason for that quote that they're going to vote on this universal basic income now?
When I think of universal basic income and all the issues that we've been hearing about, I have three words: nope, hope, and don't, and dope. My nope part is that I disagree, or at least I question, one of the fundamental assumptions behind it, which is that, oh my God, this digital revolution is going to put us all out of work. People said that about the agrarian revolution. People said that about the industrial revolution. Now, when I talk to people about this, they said, well, wait, well, that was different because we had other technologies to take their place that created other jobs. What's going to happen this time? I don't know. But if you had asked me the same question at the beginning of the agrarian and the industrial revolutions, I wouldn't have known that answer either. So I do have some faith in the ability of markets to adapt to the digital revolution. So I'm not quite as pessimistic as some people. So that's the nope part. The hope part actually reflects what we just heard on the previous panel on this stage. I'm actually very encouraged for some of the reasons Mike was just talking about, these experiments that are taking place. I would love there to be some good formula for not only making poor people's lives better, but for creating independence and self-sufficiency and self-worth for poor people. And so if some of these experiments seem to be generating those kinds of results, that would be great. But here's the dope part. And it's not really dope, it's dopey, because it's the belief that you can take these private voluntary initiatives that are getting good results and then turn them into giant one-size-fits-all government programs and think that they're going to work when they would necessitate, in the case of some of the assumptions about what it would take in America or what we see with the Swiss referendum package, the increase in the burden of government spending would be so enormous, and the accompanying increase in tax rates and the impact that that would have on incentives. I think that's why, the last article I saw, and I'm certainly not an expert on the Swiss political system, we have that expert right here, but the poll I saw, an article about an English language outlet, was 72% against. And so the reason I wrote that the Swiss are the world's most sensible people is you have direct democracy, which actually goes very much against what our founders in America, they were very concerned about majoritarianism, but the Swiss people have made majoritarianism work because they seem to actually be very rational about what's actually practical at the end of the day. And I think they're going to decide that a big, giant government-run basic income just is too expensive.
So what would you suggest instead of that?
I like what people were talking about on the previous panel, the voluntary initiatives, the local experiments. As a social science researcher, I would love it if a single Swiss canton did this and did it for 10 or 15 years, and we generated results and we could see. I do have a gut instinct. I hope I'm wrong, but I have a gut instinct that this is going to have a negative effect on labor supply over time. And what are the two factors of production? Labor and capital. That's how we get economic output to make our lives better. Well, if you're creating sort of a long-run dependency problem, now, of course, the current welfare state does that as well. So that's why I do have this hope part, that somehow all this discussion and debate is going to lead to things, hopefully on a more decentralized or private basis, that will give us the kind of results that I think we all hope for.
Okay, so you contradict Robert Reich here, who says this is inevitable. No, you say it's not inevitable at all. We can still do other things.
I might not contradict him because I'm a horrible pessimist. And I'm a pessimist.
I was hoping for some controversy here. Come on.
I'm a libertarian who believes in small government and maximum individual freedom. And I think Thomas Jefferson was right 200 and something years ago when he said that the natural progress of things is for liberty to yield and government to gain ground, or something like that. So my whole life has been government getting bigger, and I expect the rest of my life is government getting bigger. So at the end, on my deathbed, I'm going to be thinking, damn it, Robert got what he wanted and I didn't get what I wanted.
Okay, thank you so much. Listen to that pessimist here.